Hello and welcome to this week's recap. I'm Trog and with me is my good friend Sir Kodiak. How are you doing today, Sir Kodiak?
I'm doing well, and it's great to have you back. It's a lot more fun to do this
I'm
with you
glad
here.
you missed me. How was your week?
My week went well. I had a matchup against Skaven, and I beat them 2-1. Didn't take any damage. Just sort of
Nice.
very nice game. How about yourself?
Has been probably the worst 2 weeks of this team. The week before last, I lost my best killer, and this week I got basically pitch cleared by orcs. So yeah, not great. But that's Blood Bowl, you know. And I guess now I can empathize with some of the coaches that because I was fighting for the playoffs and for the Challenger Cup. Right now, not so much. Also, one of the coaches in my division just bailed out, and that guy plays against all the guys that are playing for my position. So they're getting 3 wins, and I only tied him. So that sucks so much.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
but,
that's disappointing.
Anyway, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
Division 4B getting more exciting than ever. With game 1, Murderous. Yeah, big.
Yeah, this was the big
match.
one.
Very fun match as well. I think it could have gone either way, but in the end, I think we predicted it right. Murderous Space Elf Troop won 3-1 against Legendary Wordsmith. Do you have any comments on this one?
I thought it was a fun match. It was a lot of fun to see. The big takeaway I had, and this is something we talked about a little bit last night, was the extent to which, if you look at the inducements, we have this wizard and a bribe. The bribe never got used, and the wizard came out on turn 16. But they were still hugely influential because there was a ton of fouling going on by Motley, and the wizard was always a threat. It always affected the positioning of the game. And so it was a really interesting match from that perspective.
Those kind of inducements changed the behavior of both coaches. In the case of Motley, he fouled knowing that he wouldn't get sent off unless he rolled a 1. And in case of Sean Foolery, he couldn't just wait it out and maybe try to stall his turn because Motley could just take it over with the wizard. So that was interesting. Something else is interesting. I'm seeing that Motley finally has an interesting player. He rolled a double. Yeah, that's fun.
Yes. We finally have something that isn't just a blood
Great.
stuffer.
I'm so happy to see Motley just bringing it every week. Just remind me of this when at the end of the season, if Motley goes to playoffs, we have to get a recording of us laughing at his team, and then him.
Yeah.
You know, like those Trump videos where are also all those journalists saying, "Oh, Trump has like 5% chance of being president," and president, like it's like the same. I didn't give them any credit, and he's just killing it. I'm just so happy for him. It's a great thing to see.
It's great, and that this week he took first place. That he's now he's now our division leader.
So anyway, let's a very fun match. If anyone wants to see the replay, I advise it. All Elfos are fun to watch, and this one was no exception. And okay, let's move on. Then we have game number 2, Leaping Lizards versus Donkeys and Elephants. Oh my God, Gaskell took more deaths.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So yeah.
I did not get a chance to see this one. It was also last night when there was like 4 games being played.
No, I wasn't.
Did you see this one?
I had to choose what I watched. It was kind of a predictable match at this point. Gaskell is a great coach, but I don't know how much you can do with this team at this point. So,
well, particularly this match where you have those 2 skinks, which are 2 of his like better players that like can do a lot for him, were out, and it just seemed hopeless, and it didn't turn out well.
So yeah, but Shadora makes sure not to flank this one, and he managed to take the win. So good for him. and it will count because Fedora
Yeah.
is still in the fight, as we will see later on. Then we have
Absolutely.
game 3, Hellas Kitchen versus Arequipa Nurglers. Well, this one was also being played at the same time last night, but I managed to pick up most of it. It was a very one-sided match,
Cool.
I think.
Yeah.
Hellas Kitchen.
Yeah, I went back and watched this one because I was curious to see
Okay.
how this one
tell
was.
me what you think about this one.
I thought it basically just came down to Nurgle's game plan with the way they would want, right? The Beast was controlling people. Mighty Blow was getting people off the field. Obviously, Claw isn't as influential in this match, but Luciano's got plenty of just straight Mighty Blow and just ground him down. And as you can just see with the left side of the sheet, and it's just injuries.
I think maybe the good side of it is no important permanent injuries, because this could have been bad.
Yeah.
This could have been like a team-ending match, but it was mostly badly hurt, so he can move on. He had like a lineman that died, but that's not very terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy was the tackle kick guy's like
Right,
halfway between
right.
useful and bloat, anyways.
Yeah.
So having to replace him's fine.
Okay, then we have game number 4, Butcher's Block versus Gurgle. So we both got this one wrong.
Yeah, this is our only disagreement, and
Right.
it managed to be neither of our predictions.
So yes, Stacy was saying that with Kirsten basically, because we predicted every single result except him getting beaten, and that's what happened. And maybe it was a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So were you able to see this one? Sadly, I didn't.
No, I haven't seen this one
missed
either.
it also. So let's just have a look at the stats. Ball position was fairly average. Occupation does. So I say it mostly seems to have come down to one team winning their offensive drive and the other didn't. Interestingly enough, Butcher's Block got less blocks than Skirgle, but they got more armor breaks, more KOs. So maybe that played a part.
Yeah, and I'm surprised by that because it's not like Skirgle's lacking at kill skills. It's a very deadly team,
Well,
and it just seems like they weren't
roll
landed.
12 D12s, they just don't come. That happens.
Yeah.
Okay, then we got game 5, Sun Eaters versus Careless Coders. This was a mildly predictable match at this point. The Sun Eaters are just taking it hard this last part of the season.
Yeah.
Also, Kyo Subulu is a great coach, so I'm not really surprised about this match in particular. Interesting that they got to use their claw. I see it leveled up. I wonder what they got. Other than that, I don't know if you have any comments on this match.
It was so. I say you said it was predictable. I would agree that's predictable in the result. I'd say any underworld match is going to have some amount of craziness in it. So, for instance, the dead goblin that we see, that was a self-inflicted bomb, which you don't see in every match. We saw both mummies go out in the first quarter. One of them taken out by the troll and that Pylon blitzer. So it was a fun match to watch, even if we kind of
That's
saw.
what you expect these guys to do.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Careless Coders have a Nuffle altar, so they get Bomber for 10k. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't love the bomber in general, but it's a great value. It's a great 10k
body.
piece.
Even if you don't like him, you can just put him in the LOS, let him die instead of one of your roster goblins.
Yeah.
So, and okay, then we got Greenskin Gut Splitters versus My Dixie Wrecked. Again, this was kind of a predictable match. It's kind of something I'd come to expect from Archie Bunker, because he kind of doesn't have really a team to stop scores, but at the same time has his ridiculous. Jerry Rice, a guy that that can one turn so easily. So it's hard to beat him, but at the same time, he's having a hard time in making the other teams turn over. So I don't know if you have anything else to add on this.
Well, I think it's what we're seeing with by Dixie Rect is something that you actually brought up at the beginning of the season with Jerry Rice, which is AG3 is a real problem for this one turner because the one turn failed in this game because of a failed dodge, and maybe it wouldn't have failed if he'd been, I don't remember the numbers, but it's something we see over and over again. Is there's so many dice rolls that have to go right for that to happen in one turn, and even with some free rerolls, even with the reroll, it's just so easy for that AG3 piece to not get everything done. And if we're going to end up with this one-to-one tie.
At the end of the day, Jerry Rice's main threat is the fact that he can score from very far away, but it's not the best piece for one-turners because you will get to have to dodge a screen, and that's always awful. But that said, he's an easy piece to get your scores on a regular drive.
Yeah.
And finally, we got Crit Lords to Boogaloo versus Rough Knuckle. Yet again, Redbeard tells us, I'm still alive, guys. I'm not gonna lose. I'm amazed about how much we have underestimated him, and he manages to at least bring a tie home when we think he's going to lose. So good for him. I don't know if you have anything to add on this match.
Let me see. I mean, I guess I just agree with you that it's an impressive tie, which you don't always say, but for Redbeard, I think Cullen probably got closer to the win on this one. That there was a drive in this where he threw a lot of dice at the ball carrier and just kept coming up with pushes that I think saved Redbeard his score. But still, that's Blood Bowl, that happens, and there's always things that happen on that benefit each team. And so I think a really nice result.
Well, good for you, Redbeard, and this really makes Cullen's season a lot harder now. I don't think he's in the fight anymore, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. And okay.
Yeah.
So let's see how our predictions. We're still tied because we only disagreed on the one match, and that match was we both got it wrong. So, but we're getting better. 5 out of 7 for both of us, so we're getting better. Maybe we
this was a good week for us in that regard.
Beating the coin flip, so we're getting that's great news for us. And since we're in the middle of the season, we are going to give you guys a little surprise. A small segment of the mid-season stats, so we can see where we are and where we're going. Let's have a look at our first sheet. There we go. This is interesting. Do you want to take it over?
Sure. So you're showing the mid-season stat sheet I sent you. Okay. And you actually, I believe, also have a sheet. If you could send that to me in Discord, that would be useful. But I can lead us off with this. This is just, I've been collecting stats over the course of the season regarding the teams, and here's some that I thought were interesting. Some of them aren't going to be too surprising, but we have our touchdown leader, Murdery Space Elf Troop. Not hugely surprising. It's a Dark Elf team that's winning the division, but congrats to them. We're seeing the least TDs allowed from the Airquip and Nurglers, which is our second place Nurgle team. So again, that's how they're winning their games, is they're just not letting the other person score. And the best TD differential, that's coming from those Dark Elves again, because, well, they're that's what you would expect from a winning Dark Elf team, is that they're going to be scoring a ton and just pumping that up. Looking at casualties, we see that basically it's a race between Skruggle and Airquip and Nurglers, our two Nurgle teams, as to who's really the better killer, right? Skruggle putting more bodies, generating more bodies, but the Airquip and Nurglers doing a better job of preventing themselves from taking damage. And not surprising that the Skaven team, Leapy Lizards, is our leader for most casualties received. We've been watching Gazgul just get beat on all season, and it's been a shame to see.
I'm not surprised at all to see Gazgul in that position. It makes a lot of sense with how his season has been going. I wonder if he's considering re-rolling. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious. To a certain extent, I imagine he'll look to see what's his team like at the end of the season, but it's in a position where it wouldn't be too odd to do a reroll, particularly if he takes more damage if he loses one of those nice gutter runners. Because Skaven could get up to speed so quickly, right, on those gutter runners if you reroll.
Just a note. I got a little clumsy and put the file on the general thing of the streamers. If you can, you can see it there.
Okay.
Right.
I'm actually looking at it right now because I happen to have that up on my PC. So, cool.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, these are very interesting stats. I'm not very surprised, except for the Leaping Lizards taking a lot of damage because most of these casualties are not exactly linemen. Like you expect, line rats to die every day, but yeah. I know many of these casualties are important pieces, and it has been a brutal season for them.
Yeah. Yeah, an unfortunate amount of damage to gutter runners and blitzers.
And we will get to the second part of this. And this is a very interesting part. There we have our... This credits to Drainar because he made the tool that allows us to see this. And here we have the chances of each of you to make it to playoffs and Challenger Cup. This is basically taking into account the results you have until now, and making 10,000 simulations of random results from here onward. So it kind of gives you a little window of how likely you are to make it to the playoffs or the Challenger Cup. So yeah, then we see Motley having almost a 90% chance to make it to some sort of a postseason. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
He's having a nice season.
In the case of Luis Llano, he has 85%. That's also great. And then we have on third place Legendary Wordsmith with, let's say, about 65%. That's still very good. But not to count out, up until there, I think the playoffs fight is still very much on. 2 points away from the leader is not something terrible. If Sean Fuller wins all his matches from here onward, maybe he can hope that Arequipa Norglers and Motley tie or maybe lose a match in the following matches. So something can happen there. He's still in the fight for the playoff spot, but it's a long shot. And the rest, I don't think they're in the fight at all. I mean, then we have Donkeys and Elephants with only 4% chance because basically they're at 14 points, which means they have to recover 5 points from the leader in 5 matches. I just don't see that happening. I think. Yes.
And this is talking about the primary playoffs. The secondary playoffs, the possibilities go much lower.
I'm talking about the first place only for now. So yeah, that's why I didn't even put a yellow segment in the first playoffs. I just think there's 3 guys fighting for it. With Legendary Wordsmith having a little bit of a long shot, but not so long. And the rest, I think you're going to fight or for the Challenger Cup, or maybe you're thinking about development or reroll. And then the Challenger Cup is more interesting because the third place is much more reachable. And there we got Donkeys and Elephants with a 25% chance to make it to the Challenger Cup, but you have to add that 4% chance to make it to playoffs. So if you think about it, they're like a 5+ chance to make it to some sort of postseason, which is not terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still in there, Shadora, so make me proud, man. You can do it.
I've certainly seen people win games off of 5+.
It's not that terrible. And then we have Skurgle with a roughly 10-11% chance to make it to some sort of postseason. That's a little bit harder. Then Colin with a 7%, and I make the cut on Squid 5 with a 5%. I don't think the rest should even be thinking about postseason at this point. Maybe think about development. If you like your team, maybe think about re-rolling. If you don't like your team, either way, you should be thinking about spoiling the guys on the top. That's the most fun part of not being able to make it. I'm personally doing that myself on my division. These last two matches made it a very long shot to make it to the postseason. So now I'll make sure that some of the guys that were fighting with me, they don't make it either. Playing spoiler is always fun.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments on this chart?
Yeah. No, I think the divisions you draw make a lot of sense. I think it's really notable the way that our division's broken out to these top three teams that are really outperforming everybody else, and they're all in good health, right? They're all in better health than they came into the season with, probably. And there need to be a real course correction for it to be the main playoffs, not to be one of these three people.
So yeah, that's what we got. But the season is not over, so keep it up. I still would love to see some of the yellow guys go up to the green side of the pasture. I know you guys can do it, so keep it up, and we will be looking forward to it. So let's move on to the preview now. Then we got game 1, Murderous Space Elf Troop versus Wrath of Nuffle. This is going to be a good one. I know Colin hasn't got the best results lately, but I think he can do some damage here. What do you think?
I definitely think he can do some damage. I like that he's got the 2 tackle killers, and I like that he's. I think his team's relatively lean. The problem here, I guess, is that Motley's also so lean that he's still getting 260, which is plenty for a wizard and maybe an apothecary. I think Murderous Space Elf Troop continues his roll forwards. He's taken first place. I don't think he's given it up, but he needs to be really careful of Cullen, who could do some damage, and if he takes too much damage, could take the game from him.
I'm going to call an offset here. I think Cullen can tie this match. Yes. I think.
Okay.
Yes, this elf team is very lean, but they won't have money for a bench. They will probably get an extra apple, this like a pseudo bench, and this chaos team can do some damage, because you will have 3 claw mighty blow hits on the LOS, and the LOS won't have dodge, so it will be very hard punches there, and they will have a claw mighty blow tackle blitzer for the dodge pieces. It's not going to be easy for them. If the elves get some big removals early in the game, it's going to be very uphill. Now, that said, elves can always score, so I don't see them at least scoring. I don't see Colin preventing the score of Motley, especially if Motley gets a wizard. So I'm probably seeing here a 1-1 tie, maybe. But yeah, I'm calling a tie.
I can see it.
So, would you get you said Apo and Wizard. I agree. Apo and Wizard are the appropriate.
Yeah. So that seems real straightforward to me. You got the Wizard to score with, you got the Apo because you're facing universal block, tons of mighty blow. Yeah. Just a lot of damage.
Then we got by Dixie Wreck versus Crypt Lords to Boogaloo. So yeah, my my head says, okay, Redbeard is going to really lose this one. He doesn't have a team. But then I remember he has shut me up for the last 3 weeks, I think. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. So I went back and forth between that I was literally leaning towards my Dixie Wrecked. I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be a tie because Redbeard keeps pulling these ties out. But I'm going to say that I'm going to put my faith, and me putting my faith in something that generally has not worked out this season. but I'm going to put my faith in Jerry Rice to actually score a one-turn touchdown this game, and for each coaches to score on their own drive. And so I'm saying a 2-1 win for Dixie. But man, it could be a tie. It could so easily be Redbeard.
Okay, let's go. I'll go with the tie. I think Jerry Rice will continue to suck.
Okay.
So yeah, and then we got Sun Eaters versus Greenskin Gut Splitters. Who's getting the inducements here? The Gut Splitters.
60 to the worst.
And they have cash too.
Yeah. Yeah, they with that black workout, it's giving them the
right.
It's trimming them down a little bit.
I think I like the Orcs with this one. Yeah.
Okay, I have this one as a tie. This is my tie of the week that I think they each score in their drive, but that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, listen to me, Squid 5. You take those 60 at 40, get a bribe, and kick the shit out of those undead, and you're in. That's all you need to do. I actually think the Black Orc blocker out is probably a good thing for him. Because in the end, Orcs still outstrength and outguard undead anyway, and what he really want to do as the Greenskin Gut Splitters with the mummies is get them busy with some useless lineman maybe. AB9 is pretty good against Mighty Blow without Claw, and if you can do that, then you can outmaneuver the rest of the undead team. And yeah, and also
I'm going to disagree with you on one point there, which is the Sun Eaters do actually have foreguard to the 3 on the Orc team.
Yeah, I'm used to
because they have that they have that interesting guard group.
I still see the Gut Splitters taking it.
Yeah, and they still have a nice strength advantage with the
and Black Orcs are a bit more mobile than the mummies. AB9 is better than AB8.
And they have block. They have block.
I still see the Gut Splitters taking home. Also, look at the graph from Squid 5. He's on an ascending curve. I have faith in my boy. He will do something. And if he can't, he will make a pass for the miracle. Just wait for it. That water boy guy is the best.
Nice. True, you got that, and you got a nice receiver in that AG4 Blitzer.
Then we got Skirgle versus Careless Coders. This is a nightmare for the underworld. All that disturbing presence, all that claw and mighty blow. Not looking good for them. I think I'm taking the Nurgle here. I don't know what you think.
I think this could go very, very badly. Yes, we believe just the disturbing presence, shutting down and down, moving the ball, and then all the damage. I'm gonna say, however, that she pulls out the tie. That's my guess. I think she's scrappy. She can pull some goblin shenanigans, and I think I'll say a tie.
She's hiding the level up on that Blitzer, because it should be a pretty obvious juggernaut, right? Unless she wrote something interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a world in which you do a second tackle piece instead of juggernaut.
I'm sorry.
It would come down to those tackle. For me.
No, yeah, it's tackle. It's definitely tackle. No,
yeah. So yeah, it's so yes. Okay, so yes. Then I say yes. There's an obvious choice.
Yeah,
and maybe juggernaut later. And I don't remember seeing on the stream if there was an interesting roll on that. There may have been like a double or something. No, if there was a double, it would be more obvious. Right? If there's a double, it would be obviously jump up. So yeah, it's got to just be that KSO Blue is just still thinking about it. And tackle will do very little in this match, but you still want it in general.
Yeah, because I got confused because I never take piling on before tackle. So when I saw piling on, I thought it was a made blitzer. Then I realized it doesn't have tackle. Yeah, I think it's tackle all the way unless it's a double, and then it's jump up all the way. I don't. That's pretty much it. Jump up is probably the only level up aside from strength up that an underworld blitzer really wants. That's not normal.
Yeah. Well, they have such amazing access, right? Like GSM is so good that and there's fun things to do with agility, but not on that piece.
So you give it a tie, and I give it a win for Skrull. This week we're not agreeing at all. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. Right. We're not going to be tied next week. that's for sure.
Okay, and then we got Arequipa Nurglers versus the Butcher's Block. Okay, so we both bet against the Butcher's Block last week when he played Nurgle, and he won. So we will keep.
Yeah.
Is it different this time because he's Luis Jano?
It might be, right? Like this is a team. And the thing I like about Luis Jano in this is that one of the stats we talked about earlier, which is how good he is at avoiding damage. That this is a match where that skill could be useful. I assume some of that's that pair of block dodge Nurgle warriors are nice. Are nice marking pieces that are hard to take down. We do have Sirloin with tackle, but none of the Chaos Warriors with tackle. And finally, just that guard on Gaucho Malaria, that's new for this match. So that's gonna be really nice. Finally having a guard Nurgle warrior.
Yes, finally. Okay, here's the thing. The Nurgle are giving a lot of inducements, and that can be a thing.
Yes.
Maybe a bride and an extra apple. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably what you end up with. I don't think a wizard does enough for chaos. And the thing is, you do the bride, but there's no dirty player really on Butcher's Block. So it's if Mudden had we had dirty player on Mudden or any of those beastmen, I would say absolutely a bribe. You definitely get a bribe, and you just start killing stuff. It's less useful without it, but it's still probably worth something. I mean, we saw the utility it had in a match where Dark Elves had a bribe, and they definitely don't have dirty player either.
I don't know. I'm torn.
Actually, on the other hand, this is against 89 regen in a lot of places.
I think I want to go with this.
Bribes are a lot less.
Basically, from history, I mean, he's second. Chaos Time is 10th. I guess the coach proficiency has to play something in it, but I'm not. So I'm going to go with Arequipa Nurglers, but don't think that this match is over by any chance. I mean, Chaos Time have tools for this, have the inducements that can be interesting. If they know how to play this match, they can pull it off definitely. Then we got Donkeys and Elephants versus Hell's Kitchen. Okay, so Hell's Kitchen are coming out from a very bad patch, and even then they're a little bit bloated and giving 100k to the Chaos. I'm going with the Chaos.
Yeah, who does have a dirty player piece
with a bribe against AB7. Oh my god! Yeah, no, this is Chaos definitely. I don't know.
Yeah, I have this. This one is 2-to-1 grind probably, but possibly even worse if he can really just get the killing done.
I'm sorry, Space Lion.
And Space Lion's gonna have to play this like an elf, and it's gonna be tough.
I kind of want to root for Space Lion. I mean, he's going to be an underdog here. I can't believe I root for him every week. I just don't think he's going to win. 100k inducements. I already like more the Chaos team without the inducements. So yeah.
What? So that's actually something I wanted to bring up. Is there something you fire from this team?
Maybe? I don't know. It's so.
I do not like Partey. I will say that. I like the guard lineman. I don't like a guard line defended player.
I don't know.
That's 70 of the 110 inducements. Those three skills.
Partey can be kind of nice when you play as an underdog and you can get a bribe, maybe. But in this match, you don't know what to do with him. I mean, Fend is usually for the LOS, but you're not going to put that guy into the LOS. Dirty players usually for a cheap player, but he's no longer cheap. And guard is for a piece that stays on the ground and doesn't get sent off. The skills don't match each other, so I don't know. So it's not going to be easy. Maybe Thorisa does something, and that could turn it around. But I'm putting Shadora on this one.
Which would be a nice win for him. That's the sort of thing he needs to take third place.
You're still in it. You just have to win everything and wait for the rest to trip. They will trip. I don't think everyone will win everything. At some point they will trip, and that's your choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't play this development CC thing. No, go for it. You can do it. And finally, Legendary Wordsmith versus Sleeping Lizards. This is brutal. 570 inducements.
Yeah.
Too much.
That is too much inducements.
We talked about this before. 150 is a great inducement to have. 150 as with a wizard is probably better than any player. But beyond that, it has diminishing returns. After 500, it's just ridiculously bad. I don't know. I just don't see any world where the Living Lizards can pull this off.
Yeah, and as I indicated here, I'm assuming he buys the replacement Gutter Runner. There's no reason you wouldn't. This isn't a match you keep it out for, and the inducements would only be higher than 570 if he doesn't. So I think that's basically locked in that we're going to see Skink number 8 take the field.
Yeah, Skink number 8. Also, the his killer doesn't have tackle, and that annoys me so much. I mean, why do people take piling on before tackle? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe if Kroggar had tackle, it would be interesting, you know, because Dark Elves are bloaty, they are 88, and they have dodge. So blitzing with that guy every turn, maybe get 2 or 3 removals early, and maybe you're in the match now. But with that guy, you will get pushes all the time, and you'll hate yourself. So, guys.
Yeah, I once did that. I once took Pilot on without because I had a Pestigore that was block, Mighty Blow, Claw, and I rolled doubles, and I'm like, oh, gotta do jump up for a killer. But if I have jump up, I have to do piling on, and then that's 5 skills, and that's your piece. And I regretted it, frankly, a fair bit. That even though he was good at what he did, not having tackle, there were so many turns where it's like, God, I wish this guy could go tackle that dodge guy and then kill him.
I've come to the conclusion that you only take jump up as a legend level. I just don't see it any other way.
So like a killer Pestigore we're talking about. Earlier on, of course, other pieces. Your human blitzer that gets piling on.
Right.
You can take jump up before that.
Pestigores or Beastmen, because they start naked.
Beastmen.
The 6. The 6 basic skills of a killer are already needed because they start from scratch. Also, even if you make a jump up killer, that means you don't get a Juggernaut killer. That also sucks. So I would just. I mean, it's like a very simple formula: block, Mighty Blow, Claw, tackle, piling on, Juggernaut. And if you roll doubles in the last one, maybe jump up. That's I don't like any other. In the case of the Storm Burning, that because they start with block, they can go all in. They can have both Juggernaut and jump up, which is great. But piling on before tackle, I don't like it. And so I think we're both going with Sean Fuller here, right?
Yes. We didn't say it before now, but we talked about how Shadora needs some of these top 3 teams to stumble. This is not going to be the week where this top 3 team stumbles. Pretty sure.
I don't know. Maybe Motley takes a surprise. Motley has the harder opponent.
Oh no! I just mean this. I mean this one team, Legendary Wordsmith, who's the guy. He's like, is the person in 3rd place.
Yeah.
This is not going to be the week where that happens. Our other top 2 teams, I think, are in particularly Murdery Space Elf Troop is in much more danger.
I think that's it for the week. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yep. No, just say again, good to have you back. And thanks everyone for bearing with us last week. And
thanks.
Good luck to everyone in their games.
And thanks everyone for watching us, and we will see you all this week. Bye.